I don't see how this changes very much, and that's emphasized in Netanyahu's recent remarks. But even Benny Gantz's remarks right after Sinwar's death, basically saying that the war would continue for years to come. I do not see a ceasefire happening by the U.S. election time. Unfortunately, I don't think Sinwar's death necessarily changes that. And we've also seen the public statement from Hamas saying that their issues are remained unchanged, that they're looking for a ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israeli troops.
Mm-hmm. Natasha, Joe Biden said something pretty compelling as he was getting on Air Force One leaving Germany a couple of hours ago. Quote, "I know how Israel will respond to Iran and when." That must have been quite a phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. Should we believe that Israel's response to Iran is now set?
That's really unclear, but yes, it seems like President Biden knows what's going to happen. There's been sort of analysts thinking that it would probably be military installations that would be in play here with Israel's retaliation on Iran. And that could be, the big scene setting that Biden wants to have before the election instead of all eyes on what's going on in Lebanon right now and in Gaza.
Well, so as we consider Iran here, it's one thing to think about how Israel is going to approach Iran and response to Iran's attempted attack from earlier this month. It's another to consider how Iran is going to respond to another senior leader, the most senior leader of one of its proxies, being taken out by Israel, as we've seen with Hezbollah as well. If its proxies are weaker, is Iran going to fear it itself looks weak? What does this do to its behavior?
I mean, I think everything that we've seen, especially in the past 2 or 3 months, has been quite humiliating for Iran. I would actually say the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, who was sort of the political negotiator of Hamas, was more humiliating for Iran because it happened in Tehran. It happened within a highly secure IRGC compound. This was Sinwar dying in battle. Almost, heroically to the end, even though he is, by all accounts, a sociopath. So I think the other things that we've seen have actually been bigger challenges for Iran: the pager attack, the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah. I mean, Hezbollah is really the crown jewel for Iran. Hamas is more of an ideological, I would say, sort of ally and helps boost Iran sort of amongst, in the world as part of the Palestinian resistance. But really the firepower comes from southern Lebanon with Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm. It's a really important distinction, Natasha, where the U.S. went out of its way to make clear that America did not take part, did not help Israel in this raid. To your point, it was essentially an accident on the battlefield that they came face to face yesterday. Will the U.S. help beyond a defensive posture when Israel responds to Iran?
That's a great question. I mean, I think with regards to anything at this point, this is U.S.'s war. The U.S. has to be dragged in to defend its ally, Israel. And I think that's the scary part here, because we will see an Israeli retaliation, and then we potentially will see more regional escalation and more U.S. presence in the region, and the United States really getting dragged into, I believe, a war that it doesn't want to have on its watch.
We understand, Natasha, that Hamas is likely going to be naming a successor to Sinwar based in Qatar. Sinwar was in Gaza. He was very much at the center of where all of this activity is happening. Qatar has been a mediator in conversations between Israel and Hamas in the attempted ceasefire negotiations. How significant would it be if the new leader of this organization is based in a mediating country, in a third-party country?
That's a great question, and we call them hotel guys. So essentially people that are holed up in hotels in Turkey or Qatar, and aren't really part of the fight on the ground. And there's been a few names floated to that effect that could potentially be more conciliatory, one of them being Sinwar's deputy and the other one being Khalid Mashal, which we all know of for many, many years now with Hamas, although Iran would probably not like that appointment. But the other option is someone like Mohammed Sinwar, his brother, who is on the battlefield, and it's unclear to me how somebody outside of the country necessarily can dictate actions on the ground at this point. So you could see some conciliatory gestures from these guys in Qatar, but it remains to be seen how people will feel sort of on the ground.